Good evening, race fans. Welcome to Worldwide Technology Raceway. Tonight from the Friggy Diggy Racing League, we've got a great race. Race number 2 of the round of 16 from these drivers as these drivers attempt to make their way into the round of 12. I am Tom Richter, up here in the CyberThunder Broadcast Network, and tonight I'm not alone. I've got my friend Arie Heinzman joining me up in the booth once again here on a Wednesday night. Arie, good evening.
Yet another similarly shaped track with two ends of the track that are nothing alike one another. So this is going to be a similar test to last week, but you're going to throw in a little bit of a flat track mix. So I'm excited. This should be a good one.
We've got 120 laps of racing in front of us. Practice just under 3 minutes remaining here. Mike Schaefer currently atop the board. Brad Holmes, last week's winner, Matt Semple, currently sitting third on the timing charts, followed by Gary Miller and Jaden Wicks, currently your top 5. They got some challenging tracks here in the round of 16. Last week we were at Darlington. Tonight we got Gateway. Next week we're going to be at Bristol. So certainly a challenge for these drivers of the round of 16 to make their way out and begin the round of 12 here in just 2 weeks, Arie.
That is absolutely right. We could even throw up the page right there. A little delayed on that one, but it's quite a first round. I am a big fan of this first round. I think I've said it before. These are 3 very different tracks, you know, going from Darlington, which is kind of its own beast, Gateway very flat and technical, and then Bristol is Bristol. You know, we all know it, we all love it. So it's a great way to start out these playoffs and kind of lead us into that second round where we start to get to a couple of the more standard, more traditional events in New Hampshire and Kansas. But that Roval race in the next round, it's crazy. It's all crazy. And at the end of the day, it's a perfect test to get us through the playoffs and eventually crown a champion.
Well, just under 2 minutes out here remaining in open practice. Arie, we're going to go ahead. We're going to step away for just a minute. We're going to throw a trackside for opening ceremonies here from race number 27 of the Friggy Diggy Cup Series. We're going to be back for your full 5-minute qualifying. All right, back here as the checkered flag falls over practice. We get set to begin the race out here tonight. Arie, one of the difficult challenges about Worldwide Technology Raceway is that this track is so wide. There's 3, 4, maybe even 5 lanes if you really get brave, but everybody's going for the same 1 or 2 lanes, almost kind of like a Milwaukee style corners here, Arie.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Milwaukee is a really good comparison for this track and probably the most similar that we would see on the schedule. It's very much a one or two line track in which you can make other lines work if you're desperate enough, if you're trying to get, creative enough with lines, maybe you're trying to chase someone down. But one thing I've noticed here in my past experiences racing at this track is the more of the more unique your line can be, the better off you are. It's a little tricky to pass because of the preferred line here. So if you've got something a little bit different than those around you, oftentimes it'll play into your benefit.
Well, as we wait to see drivers make their way out of pit road, Paxton Frith on track, Mike Miller on track, Brad Holmes, Roy Hill III, Gary Miller. So we wait to follow some drivers around out here, following the number 21 Ford Mustang of Paxton Frith down the backstretch here into turn number 3. Now, these drivers do need to use, correct me if I'm wrong, drivers do need to use the access road on the entry to turn 3, probably both underneath green and yellow flag conditions. So that will certainly pose a challenge if we do see green flag pit stops out here tonight. Try to make up as much time as you possibly can on the access road, but it's very flat, it's very tight, it's very narrow, and if you dip the right side tires into the grass, you will likely be going for a ride.
That you will. It's going to be a real good test for these drivers if we're going to get those green flag pit stops, especially as we see Matt Semple come off of turn number 4 and shut that engine right off. That is going to be P2 with a 32.97 on that run.
Just over a tenth of a second behind current pole sitter, provisional pole sitter Brad Holmes with a 32.86 over Matt Semple. Last week's winner at Darlington Raceway, Roy Hill III, 2/10 behind the current pole sitter. But following right now, Gary Miller, first lap by was good enough for fourth on the board, lap number 2. A little bit slower. He's going to hold on to fourth on the board, and the top 5 is held by Aiden Shrine right now.
All right, what say we jump on board with driver number 9, Jaden Wicks, as he heads out of turn 4 to begin lap number 1. We're up in 5th gear, going to dive it all the way down into turn 1, 4th gear, and all the way down to 3rd gear. Going to downshift twice. Try and get a good arc off of the corner. A little bit of a diamond right there. Nice and smooth up through the gears down the back stretch. Gonna let that rev all the way out, and I'm curious to see how low Jaden goes here in 3 and 4. A little bit of a middle entry there, Tom, and gonna arc it right back down in 4th gear. Good angle off the exit. This is pretty similar to how I would drive this track if it were me, so we'll see what Jaden Wicks can throw together here.
First lap up on the board for Jaden Wicks. Good enough for 5th fastest as he concludes his qualifying efforts out here. Christopher Poglies, Brendan Brody, Mike Schaefer, drivers on track right now. Currently following the 98 Ford Mustang of Brendan Brody. Down here into turn number 3, kind of a similar entry to Jaden that we just saw just a moment ago, and then kind of dives it down into the middle to get a good run off for this long, deceivingly long front stretch here.
That it is, and we can even go ahead and throw the track map up right here, excuse me, and potentially, if it wants to go up there, maybe not, but either way, it is a weird track. It's very long on the straights, and one thing I was going to add was, on the entry, taking this middle line entering the corner, what that's going to do oftentimes is it's going to help save that right front. If you're getting in on the middle, taking a nice easy entry and kind of diamonding it off, as long as you're a little careful, that puts the car on the right rear tire, which is what you want at a flat track like this, where it's so easy to burn off that right front.
Brendan Brody completes his 2 time laps, 2nd on the board for driver number 98. Mike Schaefer, driver number 29, finishing up his 2 laps. His drivers have just over 10 seconds in their qualifying session out here. Mike Schaefer going to hold on to 4th place, and does appear Brad Holmes, double Chevy Camaro, going to be the pole winner out here tonight. So we take a look. They got a cool little go-kart track down in here, Aria, on the exit of pit road.
Yeah, I tell you what, I might be more tempted to drive the go-kart track than I am to drive the oval around it. Looks pretty fun to me.
We need to go make a quick call to race control. We're gonna get this race switched over to the infield there. That looks like a little fun track. But field of 12 drivers, the Dirty Dozen, ready to get going out here tonight on a Wednesday evening. We're gonna pull up your starting lineup. That's new.
All right. Yeah, that's what we got.
Brad
Right
Holmes,
there.
your pole sitter for tonight's race. To his outside, you got Brendan Brody in the number 98 machine. Matthew Semple and Mike Schaefer going to make up row number 2. And Roy Hill III is your top 5.
See if I can't switch this to no, it's the same one. Okay, anyway, starting in 6th place, we got Gary Miller in the 38, followed by Christopher Pugliese in the 42. We've got Jaden Wicks in car number 9, starting in 8th. Aiden Shrine in the 87 and 9th. And rounding out the top 10 is going to be Mike Miller in the 24.
And Logan Spencer and Paxton Frith, the 2 drivers out here this evening, starting 11th and 12th on the board as we get set to go racing once again on a Wednesday night. Hope everybody's having a wonderful evening, getting through the work week. And Arie, we don't have the pyrotechnics that they do in real life, but we are ready to get moving.
That we are, and I tell you what, Tom, early in this race, I am surprised to see Brad Holmes and Brendan Brody on the front row. I'd expect more out of Matt Semple given the recent run, the recent performances, but we'll see what that 8 car can do because I've got my eyes on Matthew. I think he's on a good tear here lately.
Well, pace car down and out of the way on pit road. Field being led to the green flag by Brad Holmes and Brendan Brody on row number 1, but Matt Semple picking up where he left off last week at Darlington, all over the back of that 0-0 Camaro as they race down to turn number 1. Brad Holmes takes the lead. Battle for second, Semple and Brody.
Down the back stretch, we shoot. They're still 2x2, a little bit further back. We've got the 77 of Roy Hill trying to look to the inside of Gary Miller. Not going to happen on that one. Jaden Wicks in the 9. Going to try and bring it around the outside to take over P6. Going to have the momentum down this long stretch as we complete lap number 1.
Lap number 1 done and away as these drivers get lined up. And Brad Holmes, currently race leader over Brendan Brody. Matt Semple. Aiden Shrine, didn't see him out there last week at Darlington Raceway, but Aiden already up 1 or 2 spots from his qualifying position. Jaden Wicks up 2 spots.
Now they are people already starting to shuffle around just a little bit. Drivers trying to find their rhythm and find out where they can kind of ride for now. It's very early in the race. We're racing to lap 35 for stage number 1. That is what we're looking for, and I don't think fuel will be a concern for all of stage 1. Tire management, however, that will be another thing. When you get field sizes like this especially, it's easy for everyone to kind of spread out and be running their own race. And a lot of what we're going to see out of those who are the better performers are those who know how to manage tires on a flat track. Flat tracks are a very unique challenge, Tom.
They certainly are, as battle starting to begin up here for the race lead as we followed along on our timing tower. Brad Holmes and Brendan Brody, currently the race leaders. But a little bit of a 3-car breakaway on board here with Matt Semple, driver number 8. Halfway down the backstretch here, you're going to see, we saw Jaden going all the way down into 3rd gear in turn 1. This corner for Matt, only down into 4th gear here. That's going to also help the fuel probably burn a little bit faster, obviously. You keep the RPMs up. But
yeah, I would say fuel and tires both, Tom. Not going down into 3rd into turn 1 and 2 is going to be the big one, because the higher the revs on the exit, the more likely you are to spin those tires. If you had perfect throttle input all the time, it would be better to go down to 3rd, but it's one of those things to look after your tires. You know, if you've got a lot of shifting potential, maybe you don't use it all, you know?
Well, we'll see how it plays out. I'd be curious to see what maybe Brad Holmes or Brendan Brody is doing if Matt, maybe one of the only drivers out here, only using 4th gear, but battles back here a little bit back towards the middle of the field. Roy Hill III in front of Aiden Shrine. Battle currently for what would be the 7th place position between these 2 or 3 drivers going down here.
One thing I've noticed here, Tom, as the leaders come around to complete lap number 6, is that it seems like we've kind of got a little bit of a 3-car breakaway. These top 3, Brad Holmes, Brendan Brody, Matt Semple, they seem to be, you know, we're only 6-7 laps into this race. That's not very long at all at a track like this, but they're already making their mark, kind of pulling away from the rest of the field, and it might just be a matter of, you know, are these drivers utilizing that clean air more? Is it more using up those tires early on to kind of run and hide and then play it safe a little later? But I'm really intrigued by the lines that we're seeing, just how high into the corner these guys are entering. This is a unique kind of way to run this track compared to what I've seen before.
Well, the first 2 stages are a little bit longer for Gateway than what maybe we're accustomed to seeing. We're used to seeing maybe about the first 40-50% of the race. This is gonna, once we get past the first 2 stages here, it's gonna bring us past the halfway point. Again, drivers looking for lap number 35 and lap number 70 of the 120 lap race. I think maybe there's a little bit of a learning experience here in the first 35 laps. Set yourself up for a good stage number 2, and maybe make some adjustments on the fly for stage number 3 as these drivers try to all figure it out together.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. Stage 1 is usually a good opportunity to learn, as we see hard into the wall goes the 24 of Mike Miller right there. Shouldn't be too bad of an issue here in the next gen car, but learning the opportunity in stage 1, especially for the drivers who might not be as comfortable with the car and with the setup this early on in the race, gives them a good chance. And what we're actually seeing right now is Mike Schaefer in the 29 starting to close up to the back of Matt Semple, make that a 4-car breakaway at the front if he can. Remember, I believe it was Mike Schaefer in the 29 who had topped the board in practice, so somebody to potentially keep an eye on here this evening.
Yeah, last lap time for Mike Schaefer was actually the fastest of the top 5 drivers. So Mike Schaefer starting to go in the right direction. Did start in the 4th place position out here tonight, so running status quo to where he started on the board. But Mike Schaefer maybe keeping the tires underneath him. Don't count out that 29 machine. He had a good podium finish a couple of weeks ago. I want to say maybe it was at Richmond. We saw Mike have a pretty good run, and he said, you know, I'm just trying to go out there and win all the races in the playoffs and try to race my way into the championship 4 at Phoenix in maybe just about a month and a half's time here, as he's got to look on the inside of Matt Semple for 3rd.
Yeah, I tell you what, Mike Schaefer gets around Matt Semple for P3 just like that. It looks like Matt was just kind of ready to let him go. That's a telltale sign that I think the driver of the 8 is keeping an eye on those tires, just playing it a little easy here in stage 1. There's still a bit to go, and that 8 might be looking to make a run up a little bit later. We recently were at a fairly flat track, not entirely flat, but at Richmond Raceway. It's not that banked, and we saw Matt Semple kind of take that and run away. So we've seen that he kind of knows, you know, what to do. Maybe Gateway's a different challenge, but I wouldn't count out that 8 yet.
Well, Brad Holmes has opened up as 2nd place. Brendan Brody goes way wide on the entry to turn 1. No harm, no foul, no damage to the right side of that car, but certainly some time lost for the 98. But Brendan Brody has opened up about a 3/4 of a second lead. Now that's going to open up the door for the 29, not too far behind the 98, as Matt Semple looks like he may be making another charge here in just a moment on the 29.
Close call between the front bumper of the 29 and the rear bumper of the 98. That's going to bring Matt back into the picture. That 8's going to give the 29 a big bump, but we saw the huge diamond that the 98 car Brendan Brody was taking on corner exit right there, and how he just chopped off the nose of the 29. Now, I know he was still clear, but if I'm the 29, I don't like that on lap 13 of the race. I'm gonna, you know, take offense to that just a little bit as we see the 29 head to the inside, and we'll see if the 98 cuts him a break or not, but I'm remembering that one.
Brendan Brody gets a good run on the high line of the exit to turn number 4, and they're going to go side by side, 2 wide, maybe 3 wide almost, down into turn 1 and 2. But Mike Schaefer now holds on to position number 2. Matt Semple all over the back of that Ford Mustang of Brendan Brody, right up in front of driver number 8 here. But here down into 3, I think the 98 is probably struggling a little bit right now. Kind of missing corner entries, maybe heated up the right front tire. Certainly looks like there may be handling issues on the 98.
Yeah, it seems to me that the 8 and the 98 are in a very similar boat right now, where they're both kind of starting to fall back a little bit. We've even got the 38 of Gary Miller just behind us. Oh, the 98 way up and out of the groove, and it looks like he's able to keep it going, but that's going to open the door for Matt Semple. But these two are starting to fall back a little bit. They're on similar pace. I think the 8's doing a little bit better, but we've seen the 29 start to get around these guys and move up towards Brad as Matt Semple gets loose. Brad Holmes is driving away with it. The 29's moving forward, the 38's moving forward, and we're starting to see a little bit of the coming and going.
Some would say that that was very reminiscent of the Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney moment at the Real World Cup race just a couple of days ago, where, well, Blaney just kind of got dumped there, but almost you saw Matt slide up just a little bit underneath the 98 down there, but they carry on. Brendan Brody has held on, but I tell you what, Arie, Mike Schaefer has been faster than race leader Brad Holmes by about anywhere from half a tenth to a tenth a lap. So watch that 29.
I'll do you one better. Why don't we jump on board with the 29 for a lap and watch as he reels in the 00 double of Brad Holmes, closing that gap slowly but surely. Now Matt Schaefer, fastest in practice, might just have something on more than just a one lap pace. It looks like Mike Schaefer might have the long run speed right here. Won a couple of weeks ago in the regular season finale at Daytona, so a little bit of momentum on the side of the fire and ice machine. And it looks like this car is handling pretty nicely. I'm not seeing anything that's quite, telltale loose or tight. It seems very stable.
Guy, one thing that I'm noticing here is we're riding on board with the 29 of Schaefer. We were on board with Matt Semple just a couple of laps ago. He was only going down to 4th gear. Schaefer using 3rd.
That is an interesting point, and Matt Semple is the one that's going backwards. Usually you would kind of think that's the other way around. The one using 3rd gear would be burning the tires a little more, but it seems to be working for the 29, who has got that gap down to about a second to race leader Brad Holmes. As the drivers behind starting to fall further and further back, watching those 2 leaders disappear. As looks like we recently had Gary Miller drop a couple of positions. That's going to be the number 9 and the 77 of Jaden Wicks and Roy Hill getting around the 38 car, both making their way up in the race. As a matter of fact, Jaden Wicks in the 9 is our biggest mover at the moment, up 3 places.
Jaden Wicks, biggest mover of the night. Driver that has unfortunately been going the wrong way, running back in 12th place. Christopher Pugliese started 7th on the board, down to the last car running in the grid out here tonight. In 12th is Pugliese, but we will see if this is maybe just a little bit of strategy or what the 42 is up to. Pugliese, the only driver not in the round of 16, kind of puts him in a difficult position, Arie, as everybody else is racing for a championship. As these playoffs go along and we go from 16 to 12 to 8 to 4, it's going to become a little bit more balanced out, but a difficult position to be the only car not racing for a championship amongst all these other contenders.
It is. It's a difficult position for the 42, but it's also it's an interesting opportunity, because what the 42 has in front of him are a bunch of races in which the only thing that really matters is go out there and try and win. The points don't matter. The stages don't matter if you're the 42. At this point, screw it. Go crazy. Have a wild strategy. Do whatever you got to do. Maybe you might find yourself in victory lane.
Back up here towards the front of the field in turns 1 and 2. Brad Holmes continues to lead over 2nd place Mike Schaefer. Matt Semple, the lead has kind of sort of stabilized, actually starting to pull away a little bit from the 29 is the 0-0. Matt Semple hanging it within 3 seconds of the race leader Brad Holmes, but a little bit back behind here. We got a little 3-car battle for 4th place. Brendan Brody, Jaden Wicks, and Roy Hill III trying to figure out who's going to be 4th at the stage.
That is correct. And we saw the 77 throw it into the entrance of turn 3, trying to get a nose in there and make Jaden Wicks have to think twice about it. We see Brandon Brody kind of taking the line that Jaden wants to take through turns 1 and 2. Jaden's going to have a good run going down the backstretch right here. We'll see if he can kind of make any way into turn 3. Is he going to take the inside? No. Roy Hill thinks twice about it as well. All 4 of those drivers kind of entering at the same exact spot, trying to arc down off of the corner in a very similar manner. We can see the 98 is so tight on corner exit, going all the way out to the wall, struggling to keep it out, and that's going to open the door for Jaden Wicks.
Now, it could be for a whole host of things, right? But with the 98 looking like he's tight on corner entry, a little bit of that may be the brake bias that he's running. Maybe has a little bit too much front brake bias, putting heat in the right front tire as opposed to the right rear tire. Or it could just be that, you know, we burned up the tires in the first opening laps because he was keeping pace with the race leader, Brad Holmes, throughout the first 5 or 7 laps. So could be a combination of things, but one thing is for certain, Brendan Brody is learning for what he can do for stage number 2. I don't expect to see this 98 continuing his slide backwards. Look for a change in stage 2 for this 98.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I think what the 98 might be learning here in this first stage is that when he's picking up the throttle, it might just be a little too early, and that's getting him tight.
And there's an issue on track for Paxton Frith on the 21. Not sure what is going on, but issue for a playoff contender, has a meatball flag.
Oh, looks like we got some heavy right front damage on that one. We might be able to go back and
oh, that right front is not turning right on that 21
Let's
machine.
See if we can see what happened right here. So the front right looks to be good at this point. Speed it up just a little bit. See if it happens going down into turn 1 and 2.
Into turn number 1 on the outside of Logan Spencer. Little 3-car breakaway in front of Chris Pugliese. Logan Spencer, Paxton Frith, everybody running cordial right here.
Yeah, this might not be it here. We can see if we jump ahead just a little bit here and jump on with car 21. Oh, there it is. Oh my God. Yeah, that one's gonna leave a mark there, Tom.
What a hit.
That one is gonna leave a mark.
And you couldn't pick a worse spot for that to happen on track. Just past pit road entry was the 21 riding on board here with the 21. Hits the rumble strips, and that is game over for the right front. Gonna be using a fast repair out here for sure.
That is about as much damage as you're gonna get out of an incident like that. For the 21 of Paxton Frith, you hate to see that. Just dip it onto the apron, and the car is just out of control from that point. But we're on lap 30. It's the 5 to go mark for stage number 1 as Brad Holmes leads ahead of Mike Schaefer and Matt Semple. These 3 cars have run away from the rest of the field.
Just handful of laps to go in stage number 1. Paxton Frith has been on and off pit road, but the issue that I see here, Ari, 2 laps down for Paxton. So he's going to get the free pass, assuming nobody else goes a lap down. Unlikely to happen in the next 5 laps, but he will still be 1 lap down. So hoping for the stage caution and then another quick caution.
That is a great point. 2 laps down is never a good thing. 1 lap down, you can come back from 1 lap down, and you can even come back as far as to win the race. But once you start flirting with 2 laps down, that's when it might be make or break for your evening. As we see Matt Semple trying to chase down Mike Schaefer. So we do see the 8 car coming back. It looked early like the 8 was fading, but now the 29 starting to come back to them. Could Matt get up there and get second place stage points here in stage 1?
I think it's certainly possible. Last time by, the 8 has been a little bit faster than Mike Schaefer. Not by a whole lot, but by about half a tenth, 100th of a second or so. Just got 3 laps remaining in stage number 1. It's going to be interesting to see how fast the 8 car, and if he was saving anything, the first 32 laps of this race. as you listen to the throttle on corner exit there. Sounds pretty smooth for Semple.
That it does. He's got this car under control. He's driving it smooth. You can see the wiggle out of the 29 on entry right there. That car's starting to get a little unstable. Matt's going to get it a little loose on exit. That rear end kicking out just a little bit, but that 29's holding strong so far.
Following a loose battle here, Jaden Wicks, Roy Hill III. This is a battle for 4th place. Jaden up 4 spots, biggest mover of the evening out here so far. Started 8th on the board, currently running 4th. Trying to set himself up in a good position to begin stage number 2 is Roy Hill, maybe about 5-6 car lengths behind him, but the closest battle on track, we're looking at it right here, is the battle for 2nd place between Schaefer and Semple, as we are going to see 1 lap remaining in stage number 1.
That we are, and one thing that I noticed just now is the gap between 3rd and 4th place on track right now is quite significant. These top 3 seem to have it figured out quite a bit more than the rest, and I'm really surprised. You know, it's only been about 35 laps up to this point, but for that big of a gap to form, these other drivers are going to have to figure out what it is that these guys know that they don't.
Well, big run for Matt Semple, entering turn number 3, tries to take a look to the outside of the 29 of Schaefer. Don't think he's going to get there. Give the stage 1 win to Brad Holmes as the yellow flag comes out for the first time this evening. Stage 1 done and away. Brad Holmes, stage winner.
Well, flawless run to start stage number 1 for Mr. Double Double. And got the pole, led every lap, won stage 1. That's about as perfect as you could have it go. Do you think we're going to be able to see anyone get up there and challenge him tonight, Tom?
It's difficult to say. I think the 98 has the potential to get up there and challenge not only for the lead, but also for the race win. Depending on what adjustments the 98 makes to the start of his stage 2 run here, I think he could be one of the contenders to get up there. But one thing that these drivers need to be careful about here is not to pass the pace car on this access road here, especially the race leader in this situation. If you pass the pace car, because of the way the circumference is and the radius is, very easy to do so and give yourself a black flag. The leader is at a high risk on yellow flag pit stops here.
That they are, and so far, so good. We see the top 4 nose to tail as everyone gets ready to come down and make their first pit stop of the evening. See if Brad Holmes can hold on. He's going to have that first pit stall advantage, but that 29 looks hungry. He looks hungry to get up there and give a challenge for the race lead.
Well, up and down pit road, we're going to see 4 tires up, 4 tires down, as the field of 12 drivers, 11 drivers on pit road right now. Paxton Frith staying out to take the lucky dog position, I would imagine. He will be coming in next time by, but it looks like Jaden Wicks may have just jumped the gun here and won the race off of pit road. What a great pit stop for Jaden Wicks with a 14.32, a half second faster than anybody else on pit road.
That's right, and the pit lane time was also significantly shorter than the drivers around. So Jaden Wicks going to be jumping up all the way into the race lead out of, I believe he entered in what was the 4th position,
yeah.
Tom?
Yeah, I want to agree.
That's one of the better pit stops I've ever seen in my years racing on the sim. Man, it looks like we're getting some real heavy cloud cover. It's not that late in the evening here at the racetrack, but man, the track has gotten quite dark. That's going to cool it off quite a bit until the sun can kind of come back out and get it warmed up. So this track is about to grip up a little bit. We might even be getting some fog rolling in.
Well, the lights are extinguished off the iRacing.com pace car, as it looks like Jaden Wicks here, race leader, through that round of yellow flag pit stops. Looks like he's electing to take the outside lane here for this first restart of the evening. Interesting pick to take the outside lane. I think I like it. What's your preferred lane here at Gateway, Arie?
You know, normally I would say the bottom, but based on what we've seen this evening, it seems like that middle to high line is the preferred option, especially when you're in wheel-to-wheel combat. So you know what? I like it. Put yourself in that outside lane and give yourself a good shot. As it looks like, real quick, the 00 issues on pit road all the way in the back. Probably a
Oh
speeding
yeah.
penalty for Brad Holmes, our former race leader, and that's part of the reason that I think the 9 got out in first. But we're getting ready for that pace car to pull off, and Jaden Wick's going to lead us from the outside.
Waiting for the iRacing.com pace car to get down and out of the way. He goes across the curb and through the grass to get out of the way, and we are set to go racing once again here to begin stage number 2. Green flag back out. Barney is waving that flag. Jaden Wicks gets a great restart up on the outside, giving the sole lead to the number 9 machine, but here comes Aiden Shrine. Aiden Shrine and Jaden Wicks both up 7 positions from their qualifying position, tied for biggest movers of the race right now. 87 and 9 lead them off at 2.
They do down the backstretch we go. Everyone going to try and shuffle out in the positions that they want to be heading into turn number 3. We're going to see the 98 to the inside of Matt Semple. Almost contact as he slides up just a little bit. Everyone keeps it going. And through it, turns 3 and 4 we go.
And battle for the race lead right now, Aiden Shrine and Jaden Wicks. Aiden Shrine wants to put the nose of that Chevy Camaro out front, get some clean air all over the back of that number 9 machine. Right now is the 87. Aiden's kind of one of those drivers, Arie, that if you put the 87 out front, you may not see him again.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen that, you know, in the short time I've been here in broadcasting and watching that 87 on track. Aiden seems like a track position kind of racer. You get Aiden in clean air, and that clean air is going to make Aiden twice the driver than you might see if he's buried in traffic, because he knows how to drive if it's the track ahead of him. So don't let that 87 out front. And, you know, I mentioned it last week, but Jaden Wicks has stepped up the speed in recent weeks in time for the start of these playoffs. We're seeing a different Jaden Wicks than what we saw in a handful of the races leading up to the playoffs. So this could be a good shot in the arm for Jaden Wicks here if he can stay up front and get a good solid run to the end of stage 2.
Well, there's never a better time to get hot throughout the course of the season than there is at the start of the playoffs. But battle now, second place, Mike Schaefer puts the heat on the 87. Mike Schaefer gets a big push down the front stretch from Matt Semple. Again, Matt Semple had already advanced to the round of 12 off of his win last week at Darlington. So Matt's just out here trying to gain some playoff points to help him work his way through the round of 12. Those will be given to him to start the second round, but a little bit of a stack up, second through fourth or fifth or sixth here for this little battle we got going on.
Yeah, we've got quite a few cars under a blanket. This is second through about fifth or sixth, as you mentioned, and everyone's trying to figure it out. We've got a little bit of a shaken up field here. Some of these drivers are faster, some are trying to slide back a little bit, and everyone's got to keep the tires in mind. But remember, the cloud cover that we've got over the track right now is probably allowing these drivers to race harder. Under that caution, the track cooled down a pretty good amount from this cloud cover. That's going to add a little bit more grip and allow these guys to get a little more aggressive. So I think that might be a product of that cloud cover that we're seeing right here as Jaden Wicks continues to lead into turns 1 and 2.
A little bit past a third of the way through tonight's race, and we got a great battle currently happening for third place, being led by Aiden Shrine, Matt Semple, Brendan Brody, Roy Hill. Brad Holmes presumably had a pit road speeding penalty, had to restart back in 10th or 11th on this most recent restart to begin stage number 2, already up to 6th.
Here we go. The 29 looked to the inside of Jaden Wicks. Couldn't get it done on that attempt. Going to back it up and wait again into turns 1 and 2 as we see Matt Semple to the inside of Aiden Shrine. That's going to be for third place. And it looks like the 8 car is going to clear heading down the backstretch. That 29 is not ready to let Jaden Wicks get away yet. Going to look to the inside and send it from about a car length and a half back. Going to get a nose to the inside. Can Mike Schaefer hold it? Jaden Wicks has the momentum off of the corner. Going to avoid the wall and run away down the backstretch.
Jaden Wicks continues his lead as now that puts an opportunity for Semple to take a look to the inside on the entry of turn number 1. Matt Semple battling and maybe clear the 29. Is he clear? Not clear on the exit of 2. Needed just another 3 feet and that Morgan & Morgan Chevy Camaro would have been good to go. Schaefer ducks down onto the inside to protect position number 2.
Yeah, Matt Semple got a great run through the middle of the corner in 1 and 2, but Mike Schaefer was just able to keep that nose out there. Didn't let the slide job happen, and that allowed the 29 to carry that momentum all the way down the back. Matt Semple going to think twice about it this go around and run the preferred line as Mike Schaefer is almost up in the wall, and that is going to open the door for the 8 of Matt Semple with a better corner exit. Going to have that long toe down this long backstretch and going to get a chance going into turns 3 and 4. Keeps the pressure on. Mike Schaefer gets in hot. Gonna slide up in the middle of the corner. That's gonna hurt his mid-corner speed, and Matt Semple's gonna have a huge run on exit.
Now, this is one of the easier tracks to overdrive, Ari. You just go down. You've got so much speed going down both the front and the back stretch because they are super long. For this style of track and the banking that's available here. You think of like a New Hampshire speedway, right? That track is a mile, which presumably, I mean, I don't know the exact math, right? But presumably the straightaway is just about a quarter mile, both on the front and the back stretch here. These front and back straights, a lot longer, carrying a whole lot more speed. It's a lot more inviting to overdrive the corner and slide up into the car to the outside.
Oh, it absolutely is, and I feel like we see that at these flat tracks more often than anywhere else. It's so easy to get a little bit overzealous on corner entry and find yourself in the right side of the car on your outside, and that's never a good time, especially if you are driving a car that's got a little bit of a loose setup. You so much as touch that guy on the outside, and more often than not, you're going to be the car that goes spinning around. So difficult thing to juggle.
Matt Semple still putting the heat on the back of the 29 machine of Mike Schaefer.
Who's liking this one here, Tom? Jaden Wicks.
I think Jaden's loving this.
He is loving this. The 29 was all over the back of the 9, and then Matt Semple got up there and said, "Don't you worry, I'm going to give the 29 a run for his money," and that's kind of halted their progress right there. They've kind of stalled out, and that's allowed Brad Holmes, former race leader and winner of Stage 1, to make his way all the way up to 4th and to the rear bumper of these two who have been going at it lap after lap. Jaden Wicks holding on comfortably, not running away too much, but's got a healthy gap, and now Brad Holmes is back into the picture.
Now, if you're Brad Holmes right here, Ari, you want these two to get it figured out before you get there, and it looks like they are going to. Is Matt Semple able to make the pass on the exit of turn number 2? But you don't want to be the faster car approaching 2 cars battling in front of you. There's not really an option for 3 wide here. Can you do it? Of course you can. You can do it anywhere. Will it work? Probably not.
Yeah, that's right. It's a very interesting track. It's very deceiving. It looks super wide, but you don't want to be running on most of that surface. There is a very specific line that you want to be holding as we watch the drivers go down the backstretch here. I thought Brad Holmes might have got to the inside of the 29. He's going to have to wait once more, but it's such an interesting track. It's flat and it's very, very single line, but you can make it work. You can get creative, as we've seen so far this evening. All of these drivers taking interesting lines through the corners. You can diamond it a little bit. You can, enter low, exit high, enter high, exit low. There's all sorts of ways you can play it, but at the end of the day, you're playing around with 1.5 lanes.
Matt Semple has closed the gap a little bit to race leader Jaden Wicks. Started to pull away by about 2, maybe 3, maybe even 4 car lengths over third place Mike Schaefer, as Mike Schaefer currently deals with the 0-0 Brad Holmes, but I think the 8 is a little bit faster here. Last time by, 68 for Wicks, 46 for Matt Semple, so about 0.2 better. Now Matt's issue is as well, how do I get around you?
That is correct, and one thing I find interesting is once the 8 car got around the 29 of Mike Schaefer, Matt Semple caught the 9 of Jaden Wicks very quickly. Took a lap, maybe 2 laps to get right up to the back bumper. It's going to give him a lot of time to try and work this move over. Now remember, we're racing to the end of lap 70 for stage number 2. There's plenty of time to go in the stage. None of these guys are going to want to use up too much of their tires, as Matt Semple to the inside, gonna have a good shot into turn 1. Jaden Wicks drives it in deep, all the way up into the marbles just a little bit. Is he going to be able to hold on? No, but Jaden Wicks going to have a lot of momentum with that exit right here. Will he look to take back the lead? Going into turn 3, he's going to look for it. Here's the move for Jaden Wicks. Can he make it stick? Looks like Matt Semple drove it in just far enough.
And while these two drivers battle and they continue to swap the race lead, that's allowing Mike Schaefer to stay within striking distance of the stage win, just 8 tenths of a second behind these two race leaders, and Brad Holmes not too far behind, also in camera frame in that 0-0 machine. These two drivers back, they say, go ahead, do whatever you're going to do up there. That's, we're okay with that.
That's right. The more these guys are mixing it up, the more they're battling, the tighter that's going to keep those behind and in the field as a whole. But one thing we're starting to see is, yet again, we've got a bit of a 4-car breakaway. Now, in stage 1, that turned into a 3-car breakaway. Jaden Wicks, most notably, not among those 3 and currently running in P2. Is the 9 going to fade back now that he's lost the lead, or will he be able to keep up here with these guys and round out stage 2 with some good points?
Drivers using every inch of the racetrack. Just see Mike Schaefer possibly, if he didn't get into the wall, it was pretty darn close on the exit of turn number 2 there, sliding back a little bit while the battle for the lead has kind of dissipated or fizzled out, at least for the moment. Taking a look back here at the battle between Gary Miller, Aiden Shrine, Mike Miller also in this camera frame as well. Battle for the 6th place position with these 3 or 4 drivers.
That it is, everyone trying to figure it out back here in the pack. The Hornet's Nest, as they say. We see the sun coming out yet again. That's going to switch things up just a little bit more. We're going to go back to a little bit of a hotter track as the sun lingers on it. See if it makes too much of a difference here, but, a little bit of sunlight is always good to loosen these cars up a little bit and throw another point of intrigue into the handling. Jump a little further back, we've got the 98, Brendan Brody, holding on ahead of the 42 of Christopher Pugliese. This is a battle for the final spot on the top 10. And these two drivers are having themselves a bit of a race in that they like to forget, at least so far up to this point. We've got what looks to be maybe, a little bit of damage on the front.
Wicks here, Ari, sliding down the board. Maybe not. I will go back and watch. I promise he was sliding down the board.
It looks like he was. I can see it going crazy right here. See if we can see what happened for Jaden Wicks, car number 9. It almost looked like it might have been a connection issue. See him blink out for quite a bit right here, get past, or even the scenic camera before it's, then he's back all of a sudden in the wall. So
sorry,
like
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I saw second place sliding down the chutes and ladders, and thought there was going to be championship implications for that 9 machine.
Fortunately, no such issues so far this evening. But we have yet to get to green flag pit stops, and that has been the bane of Jaden Wicks' existence recently. So we'll see if he can go out there and break that curse this evening with a good run. So we jump on board here for the battle for 3rd place. It's Mike Schaefer in the 29 trying to hold on as Brad Holmes double gets a little too high through turns 3 and 4. Overcooked it just a little bit. Now going to have his work cut out for him, catching back up to the rear end of the 29.
One thing I've been noticing here, Ari, is Matt Semple didn't win stage number 1. Won Richmond a few weeks ago in dominating fashion. Once that 8 car got out front, hasn't really looked back.
That's right, and this could be a product of Matt Semple just kind of feeling it out in stage 1, not being too aggressive, letting the race come to him, and letting the track position come to him as well. Brad Holmes making that mistake, opened the door. Matt did not have to pass the 0-0. He was able to get up there, get around the 9 car, which hasn't been the fastest car this evening, and given himself a great opportunity to stay out front and win stage 2, if not hold on to that track position later into this evening.
How advantageous is that for a driver like Matt Semple, where you take the opportunity of the faster car having an issue on pit road, they're starting behind you. How much of Matt's lead here is due to the fact that he hasn't had to deal with Brad Holmes in stage number 2 to take the race lead. What would you say?
I think it's quite advantageous. Two drivers like Matt Semple and Brad Holmes, they've been going at it all season, and they're very evenly matched drivers at the end of the day. And what that means is that oftentimes the driver who has the track position advantage is the driver with the innate advantage. They're usually going to be the one to get it done. And what we've seen out of recent weeks is that Matt Semple is better at keeping that track position, putting himself in position, holding on to it, and staying out front in clean air the entire evening. Now, if he had to work his way around the 0-0 the hard way, that is going to result in, an 8 car that feels entirely different than it does right now. He's going to have to use up his stuff. He's going to have to work extra hard, and that is going to change it entirely. Maybe he gets around the 0-0, but he's only able to just stay in front. The way this is gone, he's not needed to do that hard battle. He's able to keep the tires under him, and that's why the lead can balloon to what it is. And one thing I will say is it's kind of similar to, or it kind of ties into how the 0-0 is only up to 4th. Brad Holmes started at the back of the pack on that restart due to a penalty, presumably, and he's only made his way up to 4th. He's kind of stalled out here. Now, a lot of that could be that the 0-0 had to use up some stuff while he was climbing the field.
That is a pretty big hit for Jaden Wicks on the exit of turn number 2 that we caught on the corner exit camera. See if we have any damage on the right front side of that 9 machine. But yeah, I would typically agree with the statement that you said. I mean, it certainly doesn't hurt Matt Semple. I'll give you the simple answer. It doesn't hurt Matt Semple to have Brad Holmes starting behind you on to begin stage number 2. Now that Brad is back up in say a top 5 position here to end stage number 2, with stage number 2 closing in just 3 laps, may look a little bit different in stage number 3.
That it may. And yeah, we are coming to the close of stage number 2 already. This race has been going by pretty quick. No cautions for incidents so far, knock on wood, as we watch the 38 of Gary Miller try to chase down Aiden Shrine. This will be a battle for P6 at the moment. These two have been pretty close. One of the closest battles on track for the past 10 to 15 laps or so. Can't quite get away from each other, but can't quite get the pass done if you're the 38. Not yet, at least.
Gary Miller takes a look down onto the inside, not going to be able to get there to the left side of the 87 Coca-Cola black and red Chevy Camaro of Aiden Shrine just yet. But you can see him fighting the wheel on corner exit here. Gets a little bit loose. Still using 5th gear. Late in a run, down to 4th gear, down to 3rd gear. I think I'm kind of surprised to see them going down to 3rd gear this late in a run. Obviously, the times are going to slow down as the tires begin to wear. Depending on whether you're building tight or building loose, whether you're driving off the right front or the right rear, this could be a handling thing. It is still, though, kind of surprised to see them going all the way down into 3rd gear on the entry of turn 1, especially as the RPMs begin to drop because you're not running as fast.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. Seeing 3rd gear this late on these old of tires more than anything, I think is. I'm surprised these cars aren't a little more on edge given that, and maybe these drivers are having to work that throttle quite a bit to make 3rd gear work. But it's interesting watching on board with Gary Miller here. One thing I've noticed is he likes to get on the throttle with that wheel still cranked quite a bit, and that is going to eat into that right front tire quite a bit. So it'll be interesting to see as the yellow flag comes out for the conclusion of stage number 2.
Stage number 2 done and away. Matt Semple, stage number 2 winner. Brad Holmes, who won stage number 1, back in 4th. But the field's going to gather up behind the iRacing.com pace car. Arie, what do you say we're going to step away? Just a minute. Driver's going to get some green flag, yellow flag pit stops in here. And we'll bring you the green flag for stage number 3 here.
Let's do it.
back at it once again. Round of yellow flag pit stops completed as we get set to begin stage number 3 with our race to lap 120. Just under 50 laps remaining out here tonight. 2 cautions so far, both for the stages. No contact or incident cautions as this race runs along, but the field getting ready to line up behind the iRacing.com pace car. Arie, new leader, Mike Schaefer.
Yeah, and this is one of the more interesting new leaders of the race. We've seen that 29 show a lot of speed this evening, but he has not been able to get up there and control this race. Now, through a really good pit sequence, we see the 29 getting that chance. Now, gonna have clean air on this restart. Can that 29 keep it? Can he go up there and show the speed that he's been showing so far this evening?
It's the perfect opportunity. Jaden Wicks was the race leader on the last round of yellow flag pit stops. Jumped out to a pretty good lead, so got the perfect opportunity to do so, as now we've just got 50 laps remaining. So 50 laps remaining here, Arie. Well, 45 really when we take the green flag. I'm saying 50 because it's easy math for me up here. We just ran 2 35-lap stages. Any outside chance they can run this full stage 3 on fuel?
I wouldn't be surprised if they could, but I wouldn't be surprised if they can't. There's a lot of downshifting and a lot of high revs going on. That's going to be potentially the biggest factor here as we get ready to enter the restart zone here at Gateway. The 29 going to hit the loud pedal, and great restart for Mike Schaefer.
Best restart from the outside lane of Matt Semple that we've seen of almost anybody out here tonight. But here comes the 0-0, 2 wide. Give it 1 spot, maybe 2 spots for Brad Holmes on the exit of turn number 2. Where did he come from?
Yeah, that is what I'm thinking. That was an incredible run down into turns 1 and 2 for the 0-0. Gonna go at it again. Gonna wash up the track, push the 80 out of the way, and
Hard.
Big trouble for the 87 of Aiden Shrine. Gonna have to tow that car back and take that fast repair. Yellow flag is out.
That was a huge hit for Aiden Shrine.
That it was. We can see that.
Down here into turn number 3, little bit of contact possibly between it. Is that Roy Hill? Possibly Roy Hill into the left rear quarter panel, but huge hit for the 87.
That it is, and we can see just a little bit here. See if we can't actually whoop back on into the corner here. The 77 gets in real heavy and just can't get it woed up enough. Gets into the back of the 87, overcorrects up into the outside wall, and it is toast from there. That is a very hard hit.
Perhaps a little bit of contact maybe for, I want to say that was Paxton Frith, as well as I saw one car also getting collateral damage as that wreck came through, but that is not what Aiden Shrine wanted to see. A little bit of
no, it is not. We're going to see some of the other drivers
Mike
involved.
Miller,
the 24.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, yeah. That's who I saw. I apologize. Oh, and also Brendan Brody.
Yeah, they're going to get involved, and wow, quite a bit later, the 24 takes a pretty hard hit into the outside wall. That's not going to be good for his race either.
Arie, can we go to Aiden Shrine on pit road here real quick?
Now we can.
There we go. So, all right. I've been waiting to use this all night. They gave us a new little tool. You know where I'm going. You gave me the perfect angle. Aiden Shrine's got some significant damage as we use our telestrator here on the CyberThunder Broadcast Network. See huge damage on the right front tire. What Aiden Shrine is waiting for here, Aiden is waiting for the car to tow around the track virtually, and that's when he will use the fast repair, because this damage that you see here on the right front of his car, that's not repairs you want to sit there and wait for. That's going to be a fast repair, but he's going to be multiple laps down by the time he tows.
That he is, and real unfortunate for Aiden, who was having a pretty decent race. It was a little up and down, but overall it was looking like a solid evening for Aiden. Now, unfortunately, going to be at least 2 laps down, if I had to guess here, based on timing and scoring. So, unfortunate for his race, but not all is over yet. This could be a pretty chaotic run to the finish. Who knows? And there's still a lot that it can unfold.
Well, Aiden Shrine has towed, and he is making his way off of pit road. You see him there on the high side of the camera frame a moment ago. Coming off pit road, but Aiden Shrine going to be now 2 laps down. We saw Paxton Frith 2 laps down, but Paxton had those stage cautions to kind of get him back up to where he needs to be. Certainly not out of the race for the 87, but an uphill battle.
Uphill battle it is, and one thing that we've got to turn our attention to right here is Brad Holmes on the front row. Now, at the start of the race, Brad Holmes from pole led every lap in stage 1. Looked like the car to beat, looked like nobody had anything for him. Had a speeding penalty, got buried in traffic. Now, with a great move on that last restart, Brad Holmes has made his way up to the front row. Can he take the battle to Mike Schaefer on the 29? He's got one car to beat to get this run to the finish done the right way.
Well, pace car going to be down and out of the way once again for our 3rd caution of the evening out here. Mike Schaefer, the control car, as they get ready to go into the restart zone, and into the restart zone they go. Schaefer does not get that great of a jump. They're going to almost be side by side heading down into turn number 1 with Brad Holmes to the outside, and he's able to get there, and there's going to be contact for the race lead. They're door banging, trying to protect the lead.
Door banging they are. Down the backstretch we go, neck and neck. It's a drag race into turn 3. They're still door banging. Brad Holmes going to have the preferred line on the outside. Can he make it stick with the tires fresh off of that heat cycle? He's going to try and get a run, maybe even crossover as Mike Schaefer holds on to the lead and leads this lap.
Well, he may not lead the next one at this rate. Brad Holmes down to the inside, 0-0, inside the 29. Mike Schaefer trying to keep the left rear on the right rear quarter panel, and looks like he might be able to do it as he is still... Brad Holmes is finally clear now for the race lead. Does not slide up to the front of the 29, but the 0-0 back out front here to begin lap number 81 in just a moment, but here comes Schaefer again.
Schaefer had a look, but doesn't have the momentum on corner exit. That's going to give the advantage to Brad Holmes. Now, Matt Semple right on the back bumper of the 29. Is Matt going to try and force the issue, or is he going to try and let these two battle it out? Maybe have something ahead of him that he can kind of capitalize on. We'll see.
If you're Matt Semple, you got to force the issue here. We've seen every time a leader has gotten out, they've stepped out. If you're Matt Semple right now, you can't let the leader get away here. You got to try to be the first one to him.
Absolutely. I would tend to agree with that, Tom. It seems like the time to make the move is early in the run. And as we see the 29 chase down the 0-0, trying to make a move yet again, Brad Holmes has the lead, but he has not beaten Mike Schaefer yet. Mike Schaefer is right there and is ready to capitalize with the slightest little hiccup out of that 0-0.
On board with the 29 of Schaefer, and you can see the closing distance that he gains on the entry to turns 3 and 4. That almost looked like he overdrove the corner just even a little bit for Schaefer, but now still on board with the 29. Take a look, see if the same thing happens in 1. A little bit less of a closing gap there, but you hear him going down into 3rd gear. Staying within a quarter second of Brad Holmes, the race leader, working lap number 83 of 120.
That's right. One thing I noticed as we were following on board with Mike Schaefer right there is it looks like the 0-0 is getting a better rotation in the middle of the corner. Mike is having to wait just a little bit longer for that nose to point, whereas how Brad is running the race, and it could be brake bias, it could be the line he's running, could be a lot of things. Brad is getting better rotation. That nose of that car is pointing towards the exit of the corner a little bit quicker, which means he can get on the gas a little bit quicker without using up his tires too much. That is a great advantage, and that's probably the reason that Brad Holmes was able to be so successful in those wheel-to-wheel battles.
See Mike Schaefer sliding a little bit high in the middle of turns 3 and 4 there. Jaden Wicks, Brendan Brody having a good battle here. This is a battle for the 4th place position. Brendan kind of slid back towards the end of stage number 1 and then really jumped on the slide in stage number 2 to finish. I want to say he finished like 9th or 10th in stage 2, but back in contention for the 98 machine, trying to work his way around. And right behind him, we got one more great battle of 2 cars.
That's right. A driver we have not mentioned once tonight, Logan Spencer in the 89, going to be looking to the inside of Gary Miller in the 38. This is a battle for 6th position. Tries to make it stick. Going to have to head back to the bottom, and Gary Miller might be able to get there. No, give the spot to Logan Spencer in the 89, up to 6th after having a very quiet first 3/4 of the race this evening.
Jaden Wick's able to hang on to 4th place right now pretty solidly by himself. Brendan Brody, Logan Spencer, Gary Miller. That's a battle back there, but up here towards the front of the field, it's once again a 3-car breakaway for the race lead and possibly the race win, as we have less than 40 laps remaining in tonight's event as drivers begin lap number 87. So, we were talking about this a few minutes ago. If you don't think you can go 50 laps, Arie, the question then becomes, when do you come? Because we know they can go 35, so the window between 35 and 50 is pretty small.
That it is, and you know, if you ask me, if you have to pit, man, it seems like it would be really close, and if it's really close, I am going to stretch it all the way out and take as short of a pit stop at the end as I can. Now, if we're talking, you know, you can't make it any further than 10, 15 to go, then it's not as close. Maybe you come down and split it, but I think it's going to be close enough if these drivers have to pit at all, of course. And, you know, in that case, give me a splash, maybe give me 2 tires depending, but run it out and hope for a caution.
Well, if you run it out, you need... Well, I would disagree, Arie. If you run it out, you want to have it run green.
Yeah, I think I said that backwards. Yeah,
No,
you do want
okay.
it to go green if you run it out.
Okay, all right. Well, at least we continue to agree here on the side. This is why I love the CyberThunder Broadcast Network. We throw punches up here in the booth in talking strategy and hearing different strategies between both Arie and I.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tom. I don't think we've disagreed enough tonight. There's been too much agreeing. So real quick, tell me who you like the most to win this race, and it'll probably be different from mine.
Honestly, all right, I'm gonna give you 2. If we're running as we run now, I like the 0-0. If we get a restart, I like whoever comes off pit road. So I will take the house, whoever comes off pit road in the lead if we get a restart.
Okay, all right, Mr. Tom Richter.
I just
selecting
picked
everybody all at once. That's okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. These two are having a fiery battle up front. Mike Schaefer has something for Brad Holmes, potentially going to get to the inside. Down the front stretch we go, going to have a good shot. And by the way, I was going to put my cards on Matt Semple in the 8, lurking behind these 2 leaders right now. Matt Semple has shown us some momentum, has won the last 2 races in a row that he was a part of. Mike Schaefer loose
and
off
Mike
a turn 2.
Schaefer's going to lose several car lanes, maybe about a second difference between Schaefer and now second and first place, but big sideways moment. That's really the first sideways moment we've seen out here tonight, maybe the first indication of drivers building loose underneath this hot St. Louis sun.
That it is. That was a little surprising to me to see, but it could also be a product of driving as hard as he was to try and get the pass done on Brad Holmes. It's not often that we've seen, you know, the leader get challenged this far into a green flag run with the tires starting to wear down a little bit. We'll see what Matt Semple can do right here in the 8, as I was trying to talk him up just a little bit ago, but I like where Matt's been at. He's won the last 2 races that he has participated in here in Friggy Diggy, and he might have something for Brad Holmes. He's right on the bumper. The pressure is on.
Last time by for Matt Semple, about 3/100ths of a second faster than race leader Brad Holmes, and you can see the mid-corner speed for Brad Holmes, or for Matt Semple, as he's got a great run down the backstretch here. I think Semple is going to be battling for the race lead here and possibly take a look, maybe even down to turn number 1.
That he is. He's going to have a look to the inside of Brad Holmes, and down the front stretch we are going to go. Brad gets a little wiggly off of the corner, but Matt Semple is going to keep that nose pin, going to keep that side draft going, and into turn 1 we go. Neck and neck advantage. Brad Holmes with the line, but can Matt Semple clear and slide up the track? He cannot. Ever so close. Brad Holmes with the advantage down the backstretch. Matt Semple going to tuck right into line and bide his time for another shot.
Now, is this not the perfect opportunity for Mike Schaefer, as he sees these 2 drivers battling right up in his glass, in his windshield? Is this not the perfect opportunity for Mike Schaefer to come down on pit road and potentially jump the race leaders?
Assuming the fuel is in question, this would be a phenomenal time, especially after having a slide like he did. He upset those tires. He heated him up quite a bit. Now, at this point, it's been a couple laps. They've probably cooled down a little bit, and he is reeling these two back in while they are fighting. Brad is focused 100% on defending, and Matt is focused 100% on attacking. That is allowing the 29 to reel them in, and with how close they are, assuming the fuel is not good enough, I'm coming down if I'm the 29.
Well, Brendan Brody on pit road, the first of the lead lap cars to come down on pit road. Perhaps a speeding penalty for Brendan Brody, as I see a black flag being displayed for the 98 machine. But that tells me everybody's got to come down on fuel. If I'm the 29, come on down. Drag the rest of them down. Make them chase you.
That's right, and I might even say the same thing for Matt Semple in the 8. He's going to have another go or two at Brad by the looks of it, but if Matt is having too much trouble getting around that 00, if it's more trouble than it's worth, maybe you come down. Maybe you wait and you don't tell him that you're going to pit until it's too late for him to react, and you come down and make your stop to try and jump him, because at the end of the day, a lot of these races can be won and lost on when you decide to pit for that last green flag stop.
The disadvantage that Brad Holmes has here now is that the leaders are racing too close for Brad just to randomly dip down on pit road and trying to get out of the way and trying to beat Matt Semple to pit road. If Brad Holmes wants to come down on pit road, he's got to 100% announce his intentions, which then lets Matt Semple and Mike Schaefer know maybe we come this time too. So racing this close for the race lead, this close to around a green flag pit stops, I almost prefer to be in second place, so that you can kind of dip on and dip off real quick and perhaps get a lap short pit of the race leader.
I would agree with that 100% there, Tom. If you are in a tight battle like this, give me second place coming on a pit road every time. If you're the leader and you've got a little bit more of a gap, I love being in the lead for the start of them, because you have some options. But right now, Brad Holmes, his only option is to fight for his life, because Matt Semple is fast, and that 8 car is looking for the lead. Can Brad Holmes hold on yet again? He can, as the 8 car ducks back into line one more time.
And again, if I'm Mike Schaefer, I'm watching this battle, still within a second of the race leader. You still need, if you're going to come down, Arie, if you're going to come down and try to short pit it, you don't want to be 2 seconds back on the race leaders. If I'm Mike Schaefer, get down onto pit road, get your 4 tires, and come out. You can't short pit if you're 3 or 4 seconds back, perhaps like 4th and 5th place here, and make it be very effective. Mike Schaefer has the perfect opportunity to dip onto pit road. Right now, nobody behind him, doesn't have to call out his intention. I think the 29 is sitting in in the best spot.
He is. He's close enough to the leaders that he can still capitalize with a well-placed undercut. As we continue to watch this battle for the race lead, the most intense battle of this entire run so far. There's been a couple shakeups going on a little further back in the pack, but as we run, double and Matt Semple in the 8, both going at it, and I can't help but feel like that 8 car is faster, Tom, but the 00 is using that clean air advantage about as well as you could ask, and defending for his life. That 8 car is trying everything he can, getting a good diamond through the corner right there, going to try and have a good run down into turn 1 to give another go.
This time by, we see less than 20 laps remaining here on the CyberThunder Broadcast Network. We've been following this great battle between the stage winners out here. Brad Holmes won stage 1, Matt Semple won stage 2. Mike Schaefer trying to win stage number 3, but it's a 3-car breakaway for the race lead. Back 4th and 5th, Jaden Wicks, Logan Spencer. We've kind of left that battle all up on their own as we've been following a great battle for the race lead. As now it looks like maybe Semple taking maybe another look down here onto the inside of turns 1 and 2. He's going to stay nose to tail with that 00 machine. Driver's seat 18 laps to go.
They are racing about as close as you can possibly get. Taking the same line through turns 1 and 2. Brad trying to take the preferred line. Matt trying to make it work to screw that dirty air. It's not going to stop me. Wow, a big wobble into turn 3.
Now an opposite lanes here we've seen. Brad Holmes protects the bottom lane of the speedway. A little bit of an issue on the exit of the corner there. Hit the wall.
That it is. Matt actually recovered real good. Matt had to check up and kind of got a little loose because he got into the back of the 00 just a little bit on entry, and that kind of messed up the 8 cars corner, but he was able to get a good run down the front stretch, stay glued to the back end of him, and we're going to have the 42 on fresh tires coming up on the race leaders. Now, that could throw an interesting wrench into the gears here if that 42 starts getting in the way, trying to get his lap back.
Arie, on a track this size, we'll call it 1.25 miles, 1.33 miles, whatever it is, maybe even a little bit bigger. Is the front bumper fair or foul here? We often see it on short tracks. What about here?
It's an interesting question that you bring up, Tom, because it is very much a short track thing, and my answer is going to be equally as interesting. In turn 1, it's fair. In turn 3, it's not. I feel like in turn 1 and 2, you're getting something that feels very akin to a short track level of corner. And in 3 and 4 right here is Matt Semple to the inside. He's got a great run off of turn 4. That is going to be the best run we've seen all night on the race leader on old tires. Heading into turn 1 right now. Brad Holmes on the outside, but Matt's going to get in hard. He's going to get loose.
Slide. He holds on to it, and this brings the 29 of Schaefer back into the camera frame and the race lead contention topic here.
Talk about slide job. Great save by Matt Semple in the 8 to keep that car going. Those tires are going to be screaming. If you have to pit before the race is over, I'm coming down ASAP if I am Matt Semple after that little hiccup right there, especially having to battle with the 29 right here. But as I was saying, turns 1 and 2, I'll use the front bumper. Turns 3 and 4, I don't like it. It's too quick of a corner and too likely to send that car into the fence. But wow, what a save by the 8.
Not a whole lot of banking here to lean on. Whereas, like, you think about a place like Bristol or Richmond. Richmond has a little bit more banking than here, but not a whole lot of banking if you do decide to use the bumper. But while that all happened, Brad Holmes has stepped out to about a 4/10, maybe 3.5 second lead over second place Matt Semple. Mike Schaefer still holding third, but a great battle with 13 laps remaining. At this point, they're either good on fuel or they're planning a no tire strategy.
I would tend to agree. Is look how quickly the 8 has caught up to the 00. That tells me that there is no doubt that Matt Semple in the 8 is the fastest car on track right now. His tires are in the best shape, even despite that big slide he had, as he's already to the back of the 00, almost gets into him, able to get checked up just enough, and he's going to have to close that gap once more. But he drove away from the 29 like it was nothing, and Matt Semple smells blood in the water.
Let's give a tip of the hat here, Arie, something that we've overlooked throughout this battle. Chris Pugliese on fresh tires, not interfering with this great battle for the race lead, as Matt Semple finally does make the pass and clear Brad Holmes down the backstretch into turn number 3. Chris Pugliese, tip of the hat, letting these drivers race for the win.
I agree. Great racing from the 42. We're going to jump back on board into turn 1 and 2 here and watch this pass for the lead, because the 00 gets up and out of the groove. He misses his marks on that corner, and that's all Matt Semple needed to see in the 8 car. Now he's got the advantage of clean air, and he is going to be able to run away. We can see that he has already opened that gap up to near a second. Is now the 00 is under pressure from the 29. Did Brad Holmes perhaps use too much of his tire trying to hold off the 8 car, and now he's paying the price towards the end?
And while these drivers have been battling, Matt Semple just took the race lead, but 4th and 5th place have now come into the talks of tonight. Jaden Wicks and Logan Spencer within 2.5 seconds of the race leader, Matt Semple. I expect that to grow over the next handful of laps, but Jaden Wicks and Logan Spencer now in contention to get up there and mix it up to fight Brad Holmes and Mike Schaefer for second.
In contention might be an understatement, because Jaden Wicks is flying right now. Those tires are feeling pretty happy in that 9 car by the looks of it. He's going to blink out just a little bit, but now Jaden Wicks is staring down at second place. Just 2 cars in front of him. Can Jaden Wicks get up here and wrap up this race with a great surprise finish?
Schaefer makes his way around the outside of the 00 machine. Maybe there's no good left on those Goodyears for Brad Holmes, as he's now under fire from Jaden Wicks halfway down the backstretch. Logan Spencer also possibly taking a look, thinking about a podium finish out here for the 89 machine. To the inside is the 89, and there might
a blink out for the 9.
Yeah, that was a really bad moment to have a blink out. Connection issue for Jaden Wicks. Jaden may have gotten out of the gas when he saw the potential outcome of that incident right there. But Logan Spencer has made his way up into third, and Brad Holmes continues to fall down back into fourth.
That's right. Great heads-up driving out of Jaden Wicks to let off of the gas when everything blinks away. That can always go very poorly. And big beneficiary, Logan Spencer, as you mentioned in the 89. We didn't mention Logan Spencer until a good chunk of the way into stage 3. And here he is running in P3 and potentially with enough to chase down Mike Schaefer in the 29 for second position as we run. That's what Logan Spencer is looking at just ahead of him. 7 laps to go on the board as the 00 continues to fall. Jaden Wicks now up to P4. Going to get into the wall just a little bit, but nothing too crazy. And we even see the 38 of Gary Miller starting to close in on the back of Brad Holmes.
This time by Matt Semple's going to see 6 laps remaining from Worldwide Technology Raceway as he stepped out to a 2-second lead over Mike Schaefer, 2 1/4 over Logan Spencer. Jaden Wicks. Brad Holmes has now fallen down to 5th place on the timing and scoring charts right now. That just tells me Matt really had to work his tail off to get around the 0-0, because once he got in front of him, he was gone.
That's right. Matt has it figured out. He took care of those tires on that run. He didn't let the pressure of trying to pass the 00 equate to using up his stuff. And as a matter of fact, he made the 00 use up all he had, as we see Brad Holmes now falling late in this run. Those tires have just got nothing left to give. And I tell you what, the battles aren't over, because Logan Spencer in the 89 has caught the 29 as we see the 42 and the 9 car get a little close on entry right there. Jaden Wicks in the 9 trying to make his way around the lap car of the 42 now does so, and we've got 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place all in a line here as the leaders come around to take 4 laps to go at the line. Can Mike Schaefer hold on to 2nd place?
It's hard to imagine, Ari, at this point that we'll see any of the race leaders come down on pit road. If you were going to see them, they were already going to be down on pit road. But that makes me question, why did Chris Pugliese come down? Did he have any damage that maybe we missed? As Jaden Wicks goes sideways on the exit of 2, no cars around him. Lights stay green here for the time being. 4 laps to go, single car incident, and he's gonna lights stay green here. That almost set us up for an overtime finish.
That it did. You can see Jaden Wicks just gets loose off of turn 2, digging for all he's worth, trying to get up there for a podium, and that is just a really, really unfortunate way to end the last couple of laps here for Jaden Wicks. Was in position for a great finish, as now we jump on board with the battle for P2. Logan Spencer is there. Mike Schaefer has not gotten away with it yet. It's 3 to go, and we're coming to 2 to go. Can Logan Spencer get the pass done? He's going to shoot to the outside, get a nice little crossover shaped up here. No, he's going to stick it on the outside. Down the front stretch we go. Mike Schaefer staying on the inside. He's clear, but he's not going to take the outside. Going to make the 89 go the long way around. Into turn 1 and 2 we go. 2 laps to go.
Mike Schaefer able to hang on to 2nd place running position out here right now in front of Logan Spencer. That 3rd car right behind them in the camera frame is Chris Pugliese, 2 laps down. Not going to play a role in how 2nd place finishes out here, but Matt Semple sees the white flag come out over the speedway as the battle is still for 2nd. About a 3-4 car length lead for 2nd place for Mike Schaefer. 1 lap to go for Matt Semple.
Out of turn 2 we go with driver number 8, looking to make it 3 wins in a row in the races in which he has participated. Matt Semple through 3 and 4, started off the playoffs last week with a win in Darlington, came out here at Gateway, held true, ran a good race, kept it consistent, and off of turn 4 to the line. Matt Semple is going to win in Gateway, 2 for 2 in the Friggy Diggy playoffs.
And there's no better way to start your playoff run than by going back-to-back with race wins out here tonight at Gateway, last week at Darlington. Matt's got to be feeling pretty good about his playoff chances here as we get set to begin the round of 12 after Bristol next week. But Matt Semple, race winner out here tonight from Gateway. We're going to gather up your top 3 podium finishers, and we'll be back in just a moment. Third place driver finishing out here tonight, Logan Spencer in that 89. Logan, I think we kind of underestimated the power of that 89 Chevy Camaro that you were driving out there tonight. Flew under the radar for the majority of the race, but you came home with a strong finish those last 20 laps, coming home third. How was your evening?
Well, that was definitely surprising. I'm probably more surprised than you are. I got wheel damage on the first stage. Didn't think I had very much damage for time. Went in with no fast repair. Ended up being 5 minutes. Kind of screwed myself at second stage, but clearly it worked out in the end. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Thank you, Tom. Yeah.
Well, you had your hands full here. 120 laps from the Gateway Arch here in St. Louis. Next week we go to Bristol Motor Speedway. What do you think your chances are at Bristol to perhaps steal a win from the Maple Missile, who's won the first 2 in the round of 16?
Yeah, I do like Bristol. It's kind of hit and miss for me. We'll see how that goes for sure. I'm hoping that obviously I can steal a win from him, but we'll see.
All right, well, Logan Spencer finishing third out here tonight. Podium finish. Great run for driver number 89. Logan, we're going to open up the floor for anybody you want to thank. Say hello to sponsors, family, friends, anybody back home watching you come home third.
Oh, no one really watches me. I'm not normally up on the podium, so, you know, thanks to everyone who ever did watch. Thanks to everyone who came out. Thank you, Tom. And good win, Marty.
All right, well, kicking Logan out here. Best of luck next week at Bristol. Arie and I will be here on the CyberThunder Broadcast Network to get race number 3 of the round of 16 started. But second place finisher, Mike Schaefer, I believe Arie's got. Mike?
Yeah.
That I do. I've got driver 29, Mike Schaefer. You went out there, you topped the boards in practice, you showed a lot of speed all through the evening. You were always up in the top 3 competing. Walk us through your race and kind of how you approached this week at Gateway.
I just tried to take care of the tires first half of the run, but it seemed like I burned them up a little too fast every time. I just didn't have anything for them at the end. But it's a fun track. Enjoy it.
That it is, and we saw a lot of different lines kind of going through turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. A lot of people trying to diamond the corners and take care of that right front as good as they can. We also saw a lot of shifting going on through the runs. One thing that surprised Tom and I was seeing the amount of shifting down to third gear, even on really old tires. How did the car feel out there this evening? Was it loose, tight, and kind of how did the shifting and the diamonding on the corners affect it?
I was a little tight most of the time. Yeah, the diamond worked. I mean, I just couldn't get it down like Marty and some of the other guys. But yeah, I just ran my own line, what I knew and what worked for me. Yeah, I was surprised jumping all the way down to third and 3 and 4, second half of the runs, but it worked out really well.
Well, that it did. You are going to finish round 2 of the playoffs, your race 2 rather, of the playoffs with a P2 finish. Some real solid points on the board. How do you feel about Bristol next week?
It's a crapshoot for me. We'll see what happens.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, hey, either way, I'm going to open up the floor to you, Mike. Any shout-outs, thank yous, anything like that you want to give out there after a P2 run?
I appreciate you, Arie and Tom, and on the broadcast. Y'all do a great job. Jaden and everybody in the league. It's always fun. I appreciate everything y'all do for us.
Heck yeah. Well, congratulations again, Mike, on a second place run. That is driver of the 29 Chevrolet. And I do believe down in Victory Lane, Tom is caught up with our winner.
Matthew Semple, 2 races down in the round of 16. Darlington, Gateway, one thing is the same. Matt Semple takes the black and white checkered flag in both of them as you are zooming around the track. Matt Semple, how was your race out there tonight?
It was a little eventful. I wanted to win real bad last week because I'm not very good at this track, and then something clicked there kind of midway through stage 2, and I started figuring something out. I don't know if I could just save tire a little bit better than the rest of them or what it was, but started getting some speed, and I was like, okay, this could shape up to a good finish there. And then near the end there, I kind of got into the back of Brad going into 3 and upset his car a little bit, so I didn't want to do that. I thought he was going to enter a little harder, but got into him, kind of got him loose, I guess, and then he came at a 4 and hit the wall there, and I think he got wheel damage or something from it, and then I just kind of waited for his tires to really fall off and then made the move.
Well, we've seen you and the 0-0 going door to door all season long here from the Frigidaire Racing League. A couple of weeks ago, you guys had some contact down there. Now, do you have to deliver a 6-pack to Brad's store after that contact, or where do we stand?
Yeah, I might have to. Yeah, I definitely didn't do it on purpose there, so I might have to give him an apology 6-pack there.
Well, Matt, winner of the first 2 races in the playoff round of 16. Next week we go to Bristol. What about a hat trick out there? The turkey, as they would call it in bowling. And also, maybe even more importantly, do you become the favorite for the championship?
I don't know. We have a lot of good guys in this league there. Like Schaefer showed great speed tonight, and I mean, he does every race. We call him the closer because normally he doesn't qualify too good, but then, you know, coming down at the end of the race there, you always see the 29 in your rearview mirror. So I don't know if I'm the favorite by any means, but definitely good momentum going. Feel good going into Bristol. It's a pretty solid track for me, so I should expect a decent finish there. So hopefully we can just set up the car properly there and contend for a win at the end.
Well, we see you doing your bonats here at the start-finish line. Matt Semple, congratulations on the race win out here tonight in the round of 16 from St. Louis, Missouri. Matt, we're going to open up the floor for you. Anybody you want to thank back home watching you finish in position number 1 out here tonight? The floor is all yours.
Yeah, first off, thanks to you two for doing the broadcast. It's always great to go back and watch. It's fun. I'm excited to see your little telestrator there, Tom. Hopefully you brought that out
Only
tonight.
used it once.
Oh,
You guys didn't
well.
wreck. I only used it once. Hold on. Wait. Here. We'll circle your car there. And
There you go. So, yeah, thanks to you guys. Thanks to Jaden for putting on this league. It's really fun. It's you know, kind of more laid back. There's a lot of friendships in this league, so it's really enjoyable to race. And I want to thank my mom and dad for watching. Thank my wife for letting me do this, and my friends and family who watch this.
All right, well, Matt Semple, the Maple Missile, as we call him, winning Gateway out here tonight. Arie, what a fun race we just saw out here tonight for 120 laps, only 1 contact caution.
Yeah, I'm really surprised at the fact that we only had the 1 contact caution this evening here at Gateway, and you know, it's usually a track where we might see a couple more incidents because of it, but tonight we got to see the field get spread out. We got to see a lot of these drivers that show off what they have with old tires. People like Matt Semple or even Mike Schaefer in the 29. These guys, Logan Spencer made his way up the field at the very end, saving those tires. So really let those guys shine. And speaking of Logan Spencer, I don't think we mentioned it, but biggest mover of the race, up 8 positions, up to 3rd place. Great run for Logan. So a lot of good storylines going into Bristol for the end of round 1.
As we begin to make our way out of Gateway, we're going to make our way down to Bristol, Tennessee for next week. But before we do that, we got your finishing results out here tonight. Matt Semple, Mike Schaefer, Logan Spencer, that's your podium finishers out here tonight. Gary Miller in that 38 machine had a very quiet race in that Ford Mustang for Gary out of Miller Motorsports. Has a solid top 5. And Brad Holmes, the slide from grace, what could have been for the 0-0.
That's right. In 6th place, it's going to be Mike Miller in the 24, followed by Roy Hill, the 3rd in the 77, coming home in P7. Jaden Wicks, after that late race spin and collision with the inside wall, all the way down in 8th place for driver number 9, but he's been fast enough to make up for it come next week at Bristol. Paxton Frith in the 21 in 9th place. In 10th, rounding out the top 10, going to be Christopher Pugli, in the 42. Rounding out the field, Brendan Brody in the 98 and 11th, and Aiden Shrine in the 87. Shotgun on the field after a hard wreck.
Well, what do you say, Ari? Same time, same place next week. We'll be at Bristol Motor Speedway. But before we get there, we're going to be out at Las Vegas Motor Speedway tomorrow night for the Better Half Dash here on the CyberThunder Broadcast Network. That's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern. So if you enjoy watching the sim racing products that all the drivers put on, that's going to be a do not miss event here on the CyberThunder Broadcast Network. But Ari, as always, it was a wonderful time hanging out with you.
That it was, and another race. I'm looking forward to the rest of the playoffs here in the Frigidigi Racing League, and looking forward to tomorrow's fun event.
We're going to make our way out of here. Matthew Semple, the big winner, out here from Worldwide Technology Raceway, St. Louis, Missouri. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great night.